Good evening, YouTubers. Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight with another Lake Conroe breakdown. You guys hopefully have been following along, saw the Google Earth videos for Lake Conroe. We finished that one up. And then a few days ago, we just released the offshore hotspots. Well, tonight, we're going to finish up the offshore hotspots, actually finishing out Lake Conroe. So stick around. I got some good stuff for you. So here we are back on Lake Conroe. Last time we started down here by the east side and then we worked our way up. Worked our way all the way up the east side and then back down to this highway that you see right here, to this bridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here on this bridge. My apologies, I have no idea what highway number that is, but surely you guys can tell where I'm starting at. So this is the bridge we're going to start at. Obviously, when we're talking about bridges, you always want to fish around the bridges. Anytime there's bridge pillars or just bridges in general, usually you've got riprap, rock, you got all kinds of good stuff, creek channels and stuff like that all around them. So definitely want to fish in that area. Obviously up in here, right around the edge, right in here, this looks really good as well. If you come over here, there's a pretty decent little break that's right here off the edge of this flat too, you can check out. But I like this spot right here. If we zoom in right here, you're going to notice that this is like an old pond dam, possibly, or maybe an old road, possibly, that went here. It's kind of hard to tell. Almost looks like an old big pond dam or something. But if you look right where I put that marker at, you'll notice there's a roadbed coming through there, and that's also like the saddle right there in between that dam. So there's a low spot right there before it gets back to being high. That's usually where you're going to find your culverts, your debris, stuff like that. And the fish really like to get out there and get attracted to those areas. So definitely go over there and check out that spot. That spot looks like it has some really good potential to be for offshore fishing. So as we move further down here, I didn't see too much that really caught my eye. Obviously, you've got some pretty good flats back here, and you could fish right off the edges of them on the on the breaks and stuff like that. But I like this spot back here. So number one, if you'll notice these dotted lines that you'll see right here, and it says pipeline. Anytime you can fish around these pipelines, they're really good fish attractors that the fish just really like to be around them. They like to hug really close to them, get right beside them, right underneath them, stuff like that. So anytime you see those pipelines, if you know what depth you need to be fishing in, you should definitely stop by and check out those pipelines. But if we look here really closely, we've got a point that comes out here. And so right off the edge of the point, that would be a good area to look, as well as over here by that pipeline. Now, as we move further back, obviously you want to pay attention to the creek channels, see where they're making the bends, the turns, stuff like that. So you got two really good bends right in here. You've also got a creek channel swing where it kind of swings up and gets really close to the bank line in the back here. So pretty much that whole stretch of bank line from starting about, I would say right in here or so, all the way back, especially right there on that turn. That can be a really good spot to find some fish as well. And again, I didn't mark all of these spots for you guys because I would have had way too many points out there for you, but hopefully you can learn from some of the points that I have out here for you. You can have some success on them, and then you can learn to pattern that throughout the rest of the lake to have even more success. So as we move a little bit further down here, off these points, this would be a really good area to look as well. Notice it's got a really good flat top, has a good break, and it's really close to the creek channel as well. And the other spot that's right here that maybe not be as obvious, maybe this is more of a community hole or something like that. You see a lot of people fishing, but a lot of people might overlook what's just to the north of that. So if you look right here, you've got a creek channel bend that's swinging up right against this little point. There's a little point right in here. You can barely see it. You wouldn't even be able to tell that that point came off that way from the bank line. But it does, and it comes right down there and it touches that creek channel. So that could be a good spot to look, and maybe a spot that doesn't get hit up as much as some of the other areas. Now, as you move further around here, get off the edge of this point, the next thing that we see here, obviously good flat top to this point, pretty shallow, around 6 foot, has a real good break down here. It's also really close to a creek channel, so that's good. Another spot that I really should have marked for you guys is right here. This creek channel has a really tight turn to it. And notice how it bumps right up against the edge of that big flat that's out there. So that would be a really good spot to look, just right there where that bend is. You definitely would want to check that out. So then moving down here, again, you've got a point that comes out. If you follow it here, almost like it's either a point or it's a hump. It's kind of hard to tell. Looks like it's a point though. You got the contours there. So 15 foot on top, it comes out, and if you follow it out to the edge, there's a couple good spots just right in this area that I really think that you should look at. One would be right there where that fish icon is. It's really close to the creek bed right there. And if you look, it's kind of like a saddle. This point kind of comes a little bit further out and a little bit of a high spot. Not a big high spot. It's only 4 or 5 feet difference between that last little hump and the actual bottom of the lake at 23 to 19. So not a big difference there, but you've got contours there, so it's going to raise up, and it's really close to that creek bed. So you would want to look at that area for sure. The other area here would be right here, right off the edge of the point right here, where it breaks off, and you have that creek channel swinging around, and also you've got a nice little turn there. So definitely look at that. And then as we move further back, you're going to just follow this creek channel. If it touches one of these flats that's coming out here, that's going to be a good spot to look at. So basically you could fish from that first bluefish that you see there down to the second one. The second one, if you look, it's right on the corner of that flat that's there, if that's what you want to call it, but it's got a creek bed that's off to the left of it, and then it's got a creek or a little creek channel off to the right, and then a creek bed off to the left. I mean, I guess they're pretty much both the same type thing. This one, the one on the north side, is obviously going to be a little bit bigger, so this one's going to be a lot easier to find than this one would be. So then as we move a little bit further back here, again, it's touching the edge of this flat, right? So those are good areas to take a look at. Also off the edge of this point, look how this point comes out pretty far, good flat top to it. Then it breaks off, and it's really close to that creek channel. So again, another good spot you would want to look at. I don't think I marked anything any further back there. Let's pull back out and let's keep going down here. Now, I didn't mark it, but pond dams are always really good areas to look at. And I'm sure that I probably found this one on the Google Earth breakdown. So if you missed the Google Earth breakdown, definitely go check out that video. That's actually where we use the satellite image to try to find hot spots, debris, stuff like that. But if you look right here, if you look really closely in the middle of the screen right there, right where that square is, you've got a really good pond dam that's right there. So definitely go look at that pond dam, fish around it, fish around the inside of it, and see if you can figure out exactly where it is, because that looks like it could be a really good spot. So then we're going to move up. We're going to go over here by this marina. This is Safe Harbor Marina. I didn't put the marks here, and again, because I didn't want to put 1,000 different marks out here for you guys, but I do like the outside edge of this marina. Obviously, you're going to have some riprap and stuff like that. But if you look over here, it's really, really shallow, and then it breaks off really sharp. So that looks really good as well. As we move a little bit further down here, we've also got a pipeline that comes across here with a nice flat top. So you can definitely go check that out. That one looks like it has potential. And then moving further out here, we get off the point. There's a little drop that's right here, but if you look really closely at where that drop is at, there's a pond dam that's there. So you could fish right where that drop is and right where that pond dam is, and you could probably have some potential to find some fish there. You've also got the similar thing back here. You've got another pond dam that's hidden back in here, right behind these buoys. I believe you could probably come back here. It's probably just a no wake area, but you definitely want to fish around that pond, see if you can figure out where the dam is. And then if you can find the dam and then the intersection of the dam where the creek comes out, that's usually going to be your highest percentage spot to be able to find the fish. All right, so as we move further back here, we've got different points and things like that. You could definitely look around all these little drops and look, really pay attention to your creek beds and your creek channels and just fish around those, and you're going to have some success. So moving a little bit further over here, again, we got that pipeline, another pipeline coming through here, a pretty good flat top to a point that comes out, and it meets up with that pipeline. That would be a good area to go check out and see if you can find anything. If they're relating to those pipelines, you could probably pattern that throughout this lake pretty good. So as you move further over here, we get off to this point. This point's really shallow. It's only like a foot on top. But if you look right up to the right, it says flooded timber. So if you've got some timber in here and you've got a fairly pretty decent looking point with a pretty good flat top to it, I would say check that out. See if there's some flooded timber there that you could fish around. The bass love to relate to that stuff. And there's not a lot of other areas in here where I saw it had flooded timber, at least as we work our way down. So I would definitely go and look at that spot, see if you can locate anything there. Moving out here, check these out. Check out these breaks when you're out here. Come up here and see what's going on up in here. You got some flats. This one's not really that sharp of a ledge. There's a really good ledge right there. If you look right in that area, you got 4 foot right there, and then it breaks down pretty sharp. You've also got a point here where it's pretty flat, and then it drops off. So again, a good looking spot. Now that spot there, to me, it doesn't look as healthy as some of the other ones did, just because there's not a creek channel there, but there is a roadbed there, and I know they love to relate to the roadbeds, so you definitely want to go look at that. You've got a good flat point, comes off, it tapers down, and it comes right across that roadbed. So as you move further here, we've also got a submerged bridge that's out here you could check out. I love fishing those submerged bridges, especially in the fall. It seems like the fall is like the time to go fish those submerged bridges. Now, as you're moving further up here and you're following the creek channel, pay attention to areas like this. Like, see where it cuts in right here? That could actually be the creek channel that actually does that. The creek channel might actually swing further up here and then over, and that's a little creek channel bend or a turn. So that area right in there would be a really good spot to try to locate the fish, especially if they pulled out and they're a little bit deeper. Moving up here, you got a pretty good point you could fish off of. Again, just a flat top. Nothing too crazy about it, but it's got a creek bed on both sides. So a point with a creek bed on both sides is probably going to be a higher percentage point for you to be able to locate some fish. As I move further up there, I didn't see anything any farther up. It gets pretty shallow up there, but let's keep moving down. We talked about that bridge. Let's go down here into this, down here by April Plaza Marina. If you look really closely, there's a little point that comes out here, and it looks pretty good. I wouldn't say this is like one of the best spots that we found by any means, but sometimes these spots are just kind of, spots people don't really pay much attention to. They usually come out of the no wake zone and they're flying past it. And so they just don't pay attention that there's a pretty decent little point there. And if you look really closely on that point, there's actually a little pond in there or something. If you look right here in this area right here, you can see it. So anyways, take a look at those, see if those spots work out for you, see if they look good to you, and let's keep on moving down. And as we get further down here, you've got good points and stuff like that, but just nothing that really stood out to me, that really was like a big, hey, you got to fish here, until I got to right here, right in this area. You guys know I'm following this creek channel and just following it around and seeing what it's going to lead me to. And this was the first spot where it comes really close to it, to the creek channel, and you got a pretty good point that comes pretty far out there. So that spot right there where I put that bluefish would be a good spot to look. And then if that works, pay attention to that creek channel and see if it comes close to any of these other points that come out, or these big flats that come out here. And if they do, you want to fish them. So like right in here, this kind of comes up. It's a little bit deeper. So this is almost like a hump that's out here at 20 foot. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you look over here, it's 53 foot off the side of it. So you've got a pretty good little ledge going on right in this area. You've also got a creek bed, and you've got multiple creek channels out there that you can see. So just a really good looking spot right in that area. As we move further down here, we're getting down to inland marine. I don't know what that is, but all these little marinas that are back here. As we get back here, over here, I really like this spot. Again, it looks like an old pond dam, possibly. Now, this one's not as sharp as some of those other ones that we saw. The other ones had pretty tight contours, and they were really obvious there was a pond dam there. So this could just be where they dug it out, and that's just why it looks like a pond dam, but it wasn't really a pond dam. But from the contour perspective, it looks pretty pondy to me. So I would definitely go look at that and just see if there's anything around that pond dam or relating to that pond dam. As you move further out here, you're going to have these points that come out really flat. These are really good spots to look in the fall. When you get these big, long flats that stick out like that, they'll usually get up on top and feed, and that's usually a really good spot to go find fish. If you can find one of those really close to a creek channel, then you're doing even better. So as we move further back here, again, there's that pipeline again. So check out the pipeline, especially right around where it intersects or it crosses over the creek bed. If you can find that creek bed in there, you could have some potential there. So Rush Creek, interesting. We have a Rush Creek in Hubbard as well. So as we move further down here, we get off of here, it says to Banana Bay. Look at this really nice point that comes out right here. Nice shallow top, 11 foot, pretty good drop off. It's got a creek bed off to the right of it. So it definitely looks like a good area that you could find some fish in that spot. And then as we move further down here, I didn't see, a ton of stuff. Obviously, right in here where this creek channel comes through here, you've got a little ledge. That looks like possible spot that you could check out. You got a pond dam back here as well. Some kind of pipe that's in here. I'm not sure if you could find the pipe, but if you could find the pipe, that would have potential fish around it. And then you move further down here, and this is going to be our last spot as we get down here by the dam. And that's really just this area right here. It's just got a really nice flat top to it and has a really good breakout. And then, of course, it's got the creek bed right there as well. There's also a fish attractor site right there on the top of that. So there's probably some kind of brush pile or PVC pipe, something like that, that could definitely attract some fish for you. So anyways, guys, that wraps us up for Lake Conroe. Hopefully you had a chance to view the Google Earth videos. If not, definitely go back and check them out. You can find them on our Lake Breakdown playlist on our YouTube channel. You can also purchase all of the offshore hotspots as well as the Google Earth hotspots or the waypoints. We put them all onto an SD card for you and can mail those out to you. Just go check us out at simplisticfishing.com. And until next time, guys, hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.